Wait a minute, I hear something.
Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Blueberry News! Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Yeah!
Oh yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Movie, where we talk about movies, and that's all. No, this is just a little fun show that I do, and shows last about 10-15 minutes for the most part, probably closer to 20, because I can't quit talking. And but yeah, just sharing my love for movie for all you movie nerds. So this is the show that not only walks the walk, but it talks the talk. Because, I watch a lot of crap. Or have watched a lot of crap. And that's the problem, right? Because it's kind of hard to talk about newer movies. Because I watch so many older movies that I want to talk about that, I'm having to play major catch-up. So that's why I release so many episodes as I do, when I can. When time allows. But today we are going to talk about the 1988, somewhat of a classic, Hell Comes to Frogtown. Yeah, it's a sci-fi action flick. I can't believe we haven't talked about this on Hail Ming, because it's a Hail Ming movie for sure. Let's see here. It says, when a nuclear holocaust renders most of mankind sterile, a drifter is recruited for a very special assignment. Yeah. Repopulation of the planet. All comes down to one guy. And that guy is Roddy Piper. So, yeah. How can you not say movie gold already, right? Got a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's directed by two directors. We got Donald Jackson and R.J. Kaiser, which both have done like low-budget action flicks. One of them even did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I believe. Let's see, what else? He did the Godzilla 1985 as well. So, there's some street cred there, right? We're in pretty decent hands. Let's see if we got a wide watch. Here we go. It is outlandish, exciting, and raunchy. Yeah, for the most part. It says Hell Comes to Frogtown is a hilarious cult classic. The plot alone makes this one a must-see. It's the stuff of legends. Well, it's kind of what you expect when you say, hey, Roddy Piper is going to be the star in this movie. You kind of expect legendary, I think. This movie is incredible. It is creative, interesting, fun, surprising, silly, and was clearly made with a lot of love. That's one thing about it, and I think that's why I think of it as a Hail Ming movie. Because it's just as ridiculous as all the stuff that we love. But you can tell somebody actually took their time to try to make this a good movie. Let's see. Cheesy, funny, and above all things entertaining, Hell Comes to Frogtown is an 80s post-apocalyptic movie with a soul. So it's kind of taking the 80s run-of-the-mill story, which, the post-apocalyptic thing was everywhere in the 80s, because we thought that's what was going to happen. We thought any day, there was going to be World War III between us and Russia. And we just kind of lived with that in the back of our minds. And I'm not really making this up. This was the mindset of my generation. We really thought, hey, tomorrow's probably the day, so let's have fun today. And I think that's why so many movies in the 80s are so much fun. Because they were trying to hide the fact of how scared everybody really was at the time, right? It was an interesting time. But yeah, between the AIDS epidemic and World War III threats, yeah, this is kind of where we were. And I think we benefited from it in the long run when you think about all the iconic 80s stuff that we have, right? Even this movie. So let's do a quick review of our cast. We've got a few hot spots here. We got Roddy Piper, like I said, the man, the legend, one of the absolute nicest guys I've ever met. Danny and I met him in Texas, 10 years ago, just a few years before he passed. And you couldn't get away from the guy. And you felt bad because he had a whole line of people, everybody there to see him. And you felt bad because he just kept talking to you, and you felt like we need to move on because you got all these other people. But he was not concerned about that whatsoever. Super nice guy. Asked us about where we were from, what we do. You don't get that when you go to these conventions. They really, they're there to make the money, meet the fans, obviously. But he really enjoyed meeting the people, and I can't say enough good things about him. Hated him growing up. I mean, he was the ultimate bad guy in wrestling. It was right when I was getting out of it, so he was the bad guy. We've got Sandahl Bergman in this from Conan the Barbarian, also from She, the legendary She movie that should have been better than it was, but which we will cover on here eventually. And she's kind of she's Spangle in the movie. She's a scientist that is assigned to go with him and make sure that he plants the seeds, I guess is the right thing. The only you got a couple more here to talk about. We got William Smith in this, again from Conan. He was Conan's dad, but he was in, every 70s movie. He was the bad guy. I mean, the big, towering, muscular, biker-looking dude, right? Any which way but loose, or every which way you can. He was in one of those as the bad guy. He was just in everything, right? And we got Rory Calhoun in this, which, for all you horror fans out there, he's from Motel Hell. He's the one that's, Farmer Vincent, making those smoked meats. So there you go. That's all you really need to know about this one as far as the cast. Maybe I'm skipping somebody, you can let me know, but that's the ones that stood out to me. I mean, we do have a couple of people that are, Nicholas Worth, which was, I'm sure he's one of the frogs or something, but he was in Swamp Thing. He's the guy that changes, right, that they give the stuff to, and he changes. So, I mean, you got people like that in this. But for the most part, that's what you got. And let's talk about this one. Lots of fun. You've got Roddy Piper has been captured, held by the government, and they do tests on him, and they find out that this guy is super fertile, and they want him to go out and repopulate the world because everybody's dead. And to do so, we've got to go and get the captives that are in a bordered area called Frogtown. Not to mention, the reason it's called Hell Comes to Frogtown is because his name, Roddy Piper's name, is Sam Hell, and that's a rough family name to have to deal with. I would have named my kid All Hell. All right. But we got him being tagged along with Spangle, like we said, Sandahl Bergman, and they've got a military vehicle they're riding in that has Sec Varel driving in it. Sorry, I'm trying to read this. And she's like this tough, good-looking lady, but she's super tough military, shooting the mounted machine gun on top of the vehicle, that kind of action, right? But even in this situation, when they stop and go camping and stuff, both the ladies are trying to hit on him as well. And, they want to repopulate, I guess, or they haven't been around a man. So, times are hard. And so they go to free the captives. It's a lot like Big Trouble in Little China from that aspect. You know, why frogs want human females. Of course, these frogs are all mutated from the nuclear war, and they're frog people, and they have a civilization just like people do. You got some pretty good special effects here, some animatronics. Some of it looks really good. Some of it's kind of shaky, but then again, this is 88 and kind of low budget, so you get what you get. Early animatronics here, but the movie is a hoot. It's a lot of fun, and can Sam Hell go in here and save the day? Well, he has to act like he has a prisoner that he's bringing in to sell, because apparently they want to buy these women and let them be their slaves to the frog people. And when he gets in there, he tries to break the ladies free and save them all, and that's pretty much the gist of the movie. Oh, there is one thing. Roddy Piper's got this like chastity belt on that he has to wear, very much like Prisoners of Ghostland, the Nicolas Cage movie. So I'm sure that they took that idea from something related to this. But if he gets too far away from the military ladies, there's a chance that it will explode and blow his parts off, and then he's useless and gonna die. So he has to stay within range, and of course it's Roddy Piper, so he's gonna fight it and try to stay away, try to run off, all that kind of stuff. When he gets captured in Frogtown, they're trying to cut this thing off of him, and he's like, look, you can't touch this thing, and he has to stay again within so far of Spangle, because she's got earrings. She's got accessories that are tied into this chastity belt that he's wearing, and this thing's got red blinking lights on it. It's got a battery charge on it, so he gets if he gets so far out, he gets shocked, and you hear this beeping noise that gets louder and higher the further away he gets, or the more he's in danger, and it starts coming back down when he's in range. So even when she is sold as a slave, when she gets taken away, his beeper starts going off. So he's having to run around Frogtown and just try to stay within range of her, or things are going to explode. So eventually the frogs catch on to what's happening, and they try to spoil the plans, and they cut this thing off with like a grinder. And he's like, look, you don't need to touch this thing because it'll blow up. And the frog cuts it off, and sure enough, when he pulls it away, he's like, well, they tricked me. They told me it would explode. And then all of a sudden it does, and it kills the frog. And then Roddy Piper is loose again to help save the day. This one's just a lot of fun. I mean, you get the end of the movie where they're driving off and they've saved a whole bunch of human women, and they look at Roddy Piper and is like, well, you got a lot of work to do. And he looks back there, and there's all these ladies that are in nightgowns. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of like the Petey Wheatstraw thing, where he's like, well, got to do what you got to do. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, right? And that's kind of the gist of this one. I mean, I'm skipping a lot of stuff because it's a lot of character development. You get like I said, the two ladies that are attacking him while he's asleep, while they're out camping. You get him trying to diss the mission, the mission, get out of the mission. You got William Smith. I have no idea why I said that. William Smith is tracking him down. He tries to kill him at the beginning of the movie, and then he tries to track him throughout the rest of the movie, and they have a confrontation towards the end, obviously. So there you go. I mean, you get the full circle here. And Roy Calhoun plays a character called Looney Tunes, who lives in Frogtown, who's a human that they all kind of get along with because he's kind of a traveler, like a trailblazer, you know, and he knows how to get people, and he knows all the ins and outs of Frogtown, and he's an old friend of Sam Hale's, so that ties into the story as well. And that's pretty much it. I mean, believe it or not, I'd not seen this one before. I'd always kind of skipped over it, and it may be that hate for Roddy Piper at the time, but I've never made my way back around to check it out. But I'm glad I did. There is 2 sequels to this. One came out in like 93 and one in 96. Don't know the first thing about them. Might check them out. I don't even think it's probably Roddy Piper in those, but who knows? They may be fun. Chances are they're like the Beastmaster movies and just got way worse as they went along. But you know what? I recommend this one. I think if you love Big Trouble in Little China, if you love The Golden Child, if you love any of those 80s unlikely hero scenarios, I think you'll like this one. The whole Frogtown thing is just kind of a you know, it could have been anything. I mean, it could have been just a town of deserted, you know, biohazard people, and you would have got the same thing out. So the whole point of it being frogs, whoopity-doo, I think it's just a you know, play off the name possibly, but it doesn't really matter because it's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun. Roddy is Roddy, you know, and there's some pretty fun performances in this. Sandoll to me has always been kind of cardboardish, and this is the most fun I've seen her be in a movie, so you can take that for what it is too. I give this a, you know, about like they said, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's just a little better than halfway. I enjoyed this one, and I kind of want to check it out again, so maybe you should too. All right, folks, that's it for this one. We will check you later.
Dr. Movie!